Nice
All right.
costume.
Yeah. Thanks, man. DraftKings. This is a super. They gave me the shirt. Super comfy. I will say that.
They gave it to you for how many crowns?
Yeah, I did have to mortgage, 700,000 crowns. It was this or a hot sauce. You know how it is. But
Did you ever get any of the DraftKings hot sauce?
no, I've never bought anything from the store ever, to be honest. If the hot sauce was still there, like in the old days, it wasn't that crazy.
Yeah.
Like I would have done that. But no, no. Have you ever got anything?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I use it for tickets, but I did buy like because back, I mean, it's funny to think about this now, but years and years back when we were kids, DraftKings was not thought of as like a cancer to the general public, and so I bought like a pair of, for however many crowns or whatever they were called back then. What were they called? Whatever, points. I bought a pair of like gym shorts, and that that had the DK logo on them, and I'd wear them to the gym and be like, yeah, like and people would be like, oh, DraftKings, that's cool, and I'd be like, yeah, I play on DraftKings. It's like, and they're like, whoa. It was more of a conversation start. Now, that was, and then I mean, I think I got those maybe 3 or 4 months before the whole like.
Oh yeah, now you.
Ethan Gate thing happens. Yeah.
Like I need a sweatshirt over this if I ever go outside. I certainly. I don't want questions. I don't want stories on. Oh, like my football team. It had a season long. Like I get those. Anyway,
well, it's that, or it's like, if you say that you play it somewhat professionally, then it's like, oh, you're just taking money from everyone. I don't know, whatever.
It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Indeed. You got candy going? Is May working the door?
So we got May working the door downstairs. We'll see if anybody pops in. It's been somewhat busy, to be honest. Not overly crazy, but not crazy either. So we'll take. I'll set the line at 1.5. Knocks on the door. Two openings of the door. I'll take the over. I think it's going over.
All right, that's not bad. That'll work. It is about that time. Still starting to get. It's still light out here, so I got a good hour. But it's kind of nice to get this out a little bit earlier because my neighborhood gets pretty into Halloween. So
there we go.
Kind of fun to walk around and check it out. But we are here to talk about golf. This is from A to B, presented to you by awesomemode.com. This is the Shriners Hospital for Children Open Late Night Edition. What's going on golf-wise for you, buddy? You make some lineups, got some cool takes?
I did make some lineups. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's because the last couple weeks I've been building for a non-cut and I've been playing less volume. And to be honest, it's in a non-cut, you can kind of throw anything together. This takes a little more nuance. It was tricky. Right off the top, we both said this. We've had some people in chat say this. Cash is a mess. I don't know where to start, and I have a lineup, and it doesn't even feel remotely obvious by any stretch. I don't know how many locks there even are in cash in a week like this.
No, I had a lot of trouble with it too, so I'm really not going to play much cash. I was expecting to get back into the swing of it, but it was sort of like, all right, I'd like to start with Ricky Cantlay, and then, what do you do?
Yeah, it's a tough sell. I went more balanced. Don't have Ricky in cash, which I think you can get to Ricky, but it's tricky.
So what are you doing? Are you just playing Kuchar to avoid your Kuchar fade in tournaments?
So my main tournament lineup, it ended on 9,100. I was like, oh god, I didn't use Kuchar though. No, and I don't have him in cash. Let's see for cash. I kept it pretty balanced. I started with Webb and just kind of filled in from there. It was him or Cantlay. I didn't have a strong opinion. I have more Cantlay in tournaments, so I kind of hedged it off that way.
Fair enough. My main tournament lineup does have Kuchar in it. I just don't think he's going to be all that popular, and I think he's a good player. I'm kind of excited for it. What?
I would venture to say sub 10%.
Yeah. I think that's right. And he's certainly got the upside. We've seen that over the years. Blah, blah, blah. It's Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, it's like I said, the play, it didn't stick out to me. It still doesn't, but I have warmed on it a little, mostly because I found myself, I thought that was going to be a dead range. And I think it is for most. it's not for my lineups. I really needed someone there. And not that I was interested in Andrew Putnam, because I wasn't. He withdrew, though. So, like, there's a kind of a dead pricing. It's Kuchar, and if you don't want him, you're probably bumping to Ryan Moore.
Yeah, or, I mean, if you get the extra buck to spend on Chesson Hadley. What are you doing with him this week?
Playing him.
Yeah.
I have a good amount. Where is Chesson Hadley? I think I'm going to get over. I'll probably fall in the 20s somewhere. I haven't built all of them just yet. It is what it is with him. We've seen it. We saw it even in Asia. He was fantastic, then he was horrible. Now, we don't know why, but that's what you get with him. I think we both agree this should be a good course for him, though.
I do kind of like him this week, and I'm a noted Chesson Hadley non-sympathizer.
Hater would be the word.
Yeah, I just don't, hater. I'm a hater of the word hater. It just gets a little overused. So trying to do something else.
Okay.
But I haven't yet, so hater's gonna have to work
until we can come up with something better.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, honestly, it's that the $9,200. We talked about this a little yesterday, and when I did all my crunches, like I use Cruncher. I don't just let it rip in golf anyway. I tend to build a few at a time. The two guys I found that my projections versus what I wanted would not let me have were Hadley and Patrick Rogers, because they are egregiously overpriced. But I think that they are players who should do well at this course and have really big upside when they're on. Therefore, I'm forcing it a little bit. So I'm pushing them into there, even though I do not think they are good value for the money. It's just a question of, I think that the overprice does bring down their ownership a little bit, and then the upside is certainly there if you do get them right. Missing the cut by 6 is, I don't know, literally 30-40% of the outcomes for those two. So don't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. What did you do with Aaron Wise? Did you have a thought there, you boy?
That's another guy that I've pushed in a little bit, but I don't really want to play. Whoa, Tyus Jones is out. That got dropped in our golf chat. Which
I saw that.
That's important.
We are live, by the way. I don't know if that link let me click this link and see what happens. Hopefully it does. No, it just brings us to a waiting screen. See, this is why I don't add channels. Let me drop the new link in there. Anyway, do you
Thank you, At One Straw Hat, for the piece of information.
What?
I'm talking about Tyus Jones. Continue. Do your thing.
Okay. Tyus Jones. Oh man. Okay. I do like Wise, though. I saw his press conference today. Seems ready to roll. You know how it is. Okay, we live at 5. I don't know. You think I'm gonna pull that other one out of chat. Very confusing.
Okay. Did it work?
I mean, we are live. I don't think people knew that. All that goodness. All right, back to golf. Or maybe we're live this whole time and everyone's like, what are they doing? It's one of the two.
We've been live this whole time.
No, I know. I think people were clicking on and it just was still waiting.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep. So everyone was like, okay. But now they're going to click in and they're going to be like, what has been going on?
I wasn't sure what you were doing because you were kind of talking while you were typing. And normally when, if like I'm typing or I'm distracted, if I have something else that happens, like I let you stall and I would have stalled for you, but you were like, yeah, just sort of scat singing.
It was confusing. I was checking YouTube and we were on there, not in the chat. Craziness. This is what goes on.
It's all right. Anyway, head in the game, buddy. We got a show to do.
We do.
We're in the
I'm ready to roll. So all that good stuff.
Weather seems pretty non-existent, right? Have you seen anything different?
It's so confusing on YouTube. I really don't know what's going on. But have I seen anything different? No. It looks calm. I'm not factoring it in. If you make enough teams, you can tee time stack or whatnot. But I'm playing it pretty straight up for what it's worth.
Yeah, the only thing, whatever, at this point it says Saturday afternoon's going to get windy, but has nothing to do with the tee times now. But, always something to look at for when you get into showdown slates on Saturday if you're playing there. But again, nothing for me right now. Don't mind a couple tee time stacks just in case all hell breaks loose, but it's a relatively uneventful place for weather. It's in the middle of the desert, so it's wind if anything. And, this time of year it can be kind of cold in the morning, so that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. It's tricky. Even when we've had situations where there hasn't been weather, and within the tournament there will be micro ranges. So it's not like I automatically say don't stack your teams, but this is not one where I see an advantage just looking at the wind. It's going to be somewhat gusty here and there, but I don't think we see scores like we saw last year where the breeze got up and whatnot. This should be more of a shootout and a scoring fest.
Yeah, agree with that. Anybody you've warmed to or gotten off of more since yesterday?
More into Ryan Moore, not pun intended, but yeah, he's again, it's more that I needed someone in that range. Feel pretty comfortable with him. Don't mind it for cash. Can be your third man in tourneys. That's probably the one guy I've kind of bumped up. Everyone else, Spieth, I've kind of soured on a little. I still have plenty. He's just, he's getting married soon. He was here because he has to. He's never seen the course. GPP, fire him up. No chance I touch him in cash, though.
No. You know who I've actually gotten myself a little more into, which is it's not surprising, but I just don't think he'll be popular, but I think most of the top guys are going to be relatively similar, somewhat flat. Let me check that, actually. It was not exactly. So, Ricky should be a little bit lower, which is odd, and Spieth should be a little bit lower, so yeah, fine with them. But also, Bryson doesn't particularly stand out. In-house, we only have him for 16.5. I think that's probably a little bit low, but I am buying a little bit of Bryson, I think. Just because, new not that you needed him to get to a new season. He ended last year great, but, played well here last year. I think this is a course he can do well at. Again, just a guy who's really taken a leap, and the models haven't quite caught up with it in some ways, but just crazy upside. And if he's, more in the 17 to 20% range than what I would have originally pegged for sort of 22 to 25. I think that's a substantial enough difference for me to be biting a little bit in tournaments.
Yeah, I'm with you there a little. To be honest, up top, I didn't make any super aggressive stands. The one stand I made, and we had someone comment on this yesterday, and if they're watching, I'm not taking an L on Tony Finau. I have been wrong on him. I have not been playing him. Totally fair. The problem is, and this is what I would say, if you get a guy wrong, you don't get to replay those weeks. You have to take this week on its own. And Tony Finau is 11-3 this week, and he's going to be popular. I've been saying that to try to justify fading him, and it hasn't been working. But this is not the week. I will continue to get burned there. And if you've been playing him and you want to keep, I totally get that. I'm just not paying 11-3 for a popular Tony Finau. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can back this up better than you can, because I'm a massive Tony Finau fan. Have lost a ton of money on that guy over the years. Have not played him a whole lot the last few weeks. I'm kind of sick with myself for it, but I am not playing him this week much either. I mean, I have 8-10%, but I know I'm going to be significantly under the field on that. Just 11-3 as the most popular expensive guy. I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean it's a tricky thing, and it's important. It's an important thing to talk about. Just you do get biased, and you can keep justifying it, and it gets tricky, and it's a balance of saying, hey, this guy I have to reevaluate, and I've been trying to do that with Tony Finau, but I can honestly say that I'm just not interested in him this week again, and him flying back is just another thing I don't like. Now there are guys I am playing that did play in Asia last week, but it's not an ideal situation, that's for sure.
I'm legitimately fine with being up to like with saying that Tony Finau is in that tier with these guys at the top. I think he does belong. But it's pretty close, and if he's by far the most expensive of all of them, I'm going to be coming in under.
Absolutely. That's where I am. I'd prefer Ricky. Don't mind Spieth. Don't mind Bryson. And certainly, you know, I didn't – that's another thing. I guess you were asking what I've, like, warmed on. Not just Ryan Moore, the balanced build where you could start, like, Cantlay Woodland or Cantlay Webb or, you know, like a couple guys in there. Now you look confused.
Well, you kept typing. Never mind. You just kept typing the whole time, and now I see what people are talking about.
You see why I was confused, though? There was a lot of people in our chat in the other, I guess, another YouTube channel.
So we've got 25 Slack channels of people we know now. We've traveled too far across the internet, man. We've just gotten too big. It's tough. You know, fame gets to people. You see that movie A Star Is Born?
No,
Can't imagine
I haven't.
you did.
But now we got people coming.
It was sad.
We got people coming into the right chat. Yes. Why are we on this channel? We were waiting on the other channel. I don't know about channels, but we are here. We're ready to roll.
We've been rolling for 15 minutes, so let's.
Yeah, you missed some good Halloween talk before, so definitely feel free to go back. But in the meantime, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We will get to them. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm feeling like having a fun podcast or whatever this is called. It's Halloween, but no good.
No, I'm into having fun, but you know, to have fun, you need your partner to engage with you and not just be like freaking typing the whole time.
I'm trying to put out fires over here.
No, you're trying to talk to Ted Potter Jr. in another Slack. Is that Carl?
Yes. No. We're back. We're ready to roll. I'm good to go here. We were in the NBA Before Lock channel. There we go.
Go ahead, buddy. What do you want to talk about? Your turn.
Okay.
Talking to myself here for the last 15 minutes.
What I was like I said, I was putting out fires, but now we're good to go. Russell Henley. I'm just going to throw him out there. Take it away. Go ahead. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay? Cash, maybe?
I think so. I think that's sort of the place you do it, if anything. Like, I mean, I don't mind him in either. It's weird. He's just like, you know, it's an egregious underprice. It just is. He shouldn't be priced down there with all of those other people. That said, I find cash to be rather difficult this week. So there are other options there. I mean, even like, you know, good Rory is here and he's that same price. You know, it's not a terrible play to play him.
Really? I looked at him and I couldn't click. It wasn't just bad course history. I don't know. Bad Rory freaks me out. Not a Sabatini fan in general. Kevin Tway is the other guy that I think is worth mentioning. 7,300, he won Safeway. What? No good.
Continue.
Bomber, aggressive, good player. Think he's cash viable. Don't have him in cash, but I wouldn't fault anyone for going there.
No, I think Tway's fine, and he's like a particularly low variance guy. You know, you wouldn't say that because you saw he won very recently, but he's still like round around. He's generally one of the guys in the single digits for Rover. So, I think he's totally fine for the for a cash spot. Yeah, wrong channel. Hearing Chesson Hadley touts, probably true. Again, it's honestly because he's a bad price tag. Like if he was 8,100, I think he'd be 22%, and I'd be like, nah, I can't play Chesson Hadley. I don't like that guy. As usual, but at this price, I think it's kind of a cool spot.
Yeah, I'm more of a Chesson Hadley fan than you are. I tend to get him right, and there are certain players like that. You know, he's burned you in some really bad spots. It's hard not to let that bleed in.
By not playing him.
No, but you have played him, and he plays not great, and you're like, what? This guy sucks.
Yeah, last time I played a ton of him, he was off. He came in second, so I guess maybe I'm back with him.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, like I said, we've talked about this a lot. He has that web.com mentality of he can go low, he's aggressive, he's not a great scrambler. That doesn't seem as pertinent at a course like this. This should be pretty aggressive. These are huge greens. It's more about, you know, get it in the fairway, hit good irons, make your putts. That's the game plan here.
Yep, agree with that. All right, other guys, let's see here. Danny Lee, nut spot. Yeah, I do actually have some Danny Lee this week. More than I'd like to.
Yeah, the optimal amount of Danny Lee is 0%. I don't mind some flyers here. He's playing pretty well. It's a weak tournament. I believe, and you would know better than me, another easy course kind of guy.
Not exactly.
Easy field. I feel like that's more the blueprint, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this place, I mean, he's been playing. Yeah, you're right. He's been playing well. When he does well, it's typically that midsummer swing, which is kind of more garbage fests. This place specifically actually does not correlate well with Sanderson Farms at all, which I was sort of surprised by. Generally, events that are close in proximity to one another will correlate relatively highly because you get the current form kind of people that are playing well will keep playing well. It's not necessarily all the fit sometimes, but Sanderson Farms does not correlate particularly well with here, but Safeway does, and Danny Lee was fine at the Safeway. I think he's 10th or something like that. So yeah, I do definitely have some. He's only looking at 5-ish% owned, so I think it's an all right spot to jump on. What about you? Are you buying any Danny Lee?
I mean, I think I may end up with a little, just because again the price and the upside. It's a range that I don't have much, and I'm really heavy on Spawn. I like him. I think he's a much better play. There's still a lot of risk with all these guys, so I'm not looking to put all my eggs in one basket with JJ Spawn, even though clearly I prefer him over someone like Danny Lee.
Okay. Now I'm seeing the YouTube chat. We were on the wrong channel in YouTube. What does that even mean?
So we're on right now. I'm watching our stream. We're on it says NBA Live, before lock show. But I don't know why that is.
I don't either. I just press. They have gotten it to the point where I am producing this. I am not a producer. I did put the new background on. Dan made it, so thank you, Dan. I did put it into our thing. But literally all I know how to do is press start streaming.
I don't know what it is. I hope everyone found us. Anyone who's in chat, thanks for bearing with us. We're just clowns. What can I say? It's not our forte. I'm terrible with this stuff. But we're here now. Like I said, we're ready to talk golf. So I got two guys, 7,800. You got Bronson Burgoon, Austin Cook. I'm in on both.
Yeah.
Laird, your boy, didn't make it. I looked not seeing it this week, even though he is a Vegas guy. Definitely soured on him.
Yeah, I'm 100% not interested in Martin Laird, and I am interested in the other two. So
okay, I like it. Who else we got? I'm just kind of scrolling.
Goon is going to be, I think, quite a bit lower than Cook.
Burgoon, yeah. I think you get the ownership discount there.
It's nice to see Burgoon when he's not, massive chalk.
Always.
Inside joke.
True story, man.
But, in every projection, every ownership projection I see, and the three of them, our in-house one, Drewbies, and Roto Grinders, are disagreeing on the percentages of all of them pretty wildly. And again, I think I mentioned this on one of our shows that I did have a discussion with Drewby a little bit about that. He mentioned that it's a little harder to peg proper ownership this time of year. So
it's true.
Just because of less volume and tags and shows and all of that stuff, people aren't as into it. And you can see it. Like, it's a 10K for first place in the Club Tour this week. It's 100 from, what?
We're on the wrong channel. We can't,
February to August, yeah.
It's not just the off season for the golfers. We're not in the best form either. Swing season's tough on all of us. What can I say?
Yeah, you're just waiting around for freaking Tyus Jones news all night, and the next thing you know, candy.
Yeah, get that candy. All right. Who else do I want to talk about here? Scott Piercy, there's a good one. Vegas guy, loves the course. Form has been better than it has in recent. He had some real struggles last year. I'm in, but I think that the ownership's going to be up there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much leverage I get.
I thought I was gonna be buying on Piercy. I'm gonna definitely be under. I think he's gonna be the 20% owned guy. That's crazy. That guy sucks. We've got years of him being bad now.
Yeah, but and this is where, especially in my process, you have data, you have kind of gut feel, and it bleeds. He's the kind of guy, he strikes me as a Johnny Vegas type, where there are certain courses that Scott Piercy really likes. This is one of them. He's a Vegas guy. He plays good here more often than not, and coming in with good form, I would expect him to play well, but it's hard to get that much leverage because 45% Scott Piercy, that's not happening.
No, especially, I mean, you say he usually plays well here, which, sure, but by usually plays well, it means he comes in like 32nd.
There is an element of that. He's had some good finishes here, though. I'm bringing it up as Scott Piercy, fair, 7th, 25th, 24th, 32nd.
How many missed cuts are in there?
Well, that's 4 straight years.
How many times does he miss the cut?
Here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far it goes back. He missed the cut the year before that. I only have 5 years in front of me. But it's a good point you bring up. At that price, 3 of those years he's not killing you or helping you. 1 year he gets you there. 1 year he kills you. So it's how much upside at 8,100 and a popular Scott Piercy? Would you even look in cash?
Do I even look in cash? No, that's too much money for Scott Piercy.
Yeah, I don't have him in cash either. I bet he garners in double ups and stuff not as low as you would think for someone like him.
Yeah, I don't think that's a very strong cash play, and I think that's a big reason why there's certain edges in golf. I think a lot of whatever Vegas guy, if you're comfortable at a place, sure, maybe that's something, but if he's 7,300 and that's your tiebreaker between him and Russell Henley, okay, cool. But he at 8,100, that's a bad price. So I don't know. I don't think I can do it. Guy that did strike in the mid 7s that I looked at that I hadn't thought of before is your boy, possibly real golfer, Kevin Streelman. Don't think he'll be owned at all.
Not going to be owned at all. He kind of freaks me out, though. He's been playing. He's uneventfully bad. I say this term all the time. Look to him in cash. Didn't make the cut in cash. I might have like 5-10%, if that.
Okay. Another guy, your boy, also is going to get not owned, is Chris Kirk.
Ooh, another one. Yeah. 0 for 2 so far this year. Not reading too much into that. It's early, obviously. One of those. Safeway, he was horrendous. I loved him at Safeway. He was my number 1 play, and he was terrible.
Yeah, and he was like 25% owned there. Killed everyone, so he's not going to be owned at all this week. And what's really different?
No, I'm with you. I have some Chris Kirk. Him and Henley are the guys where it's like, okay, I know they're better than Adam. These guys that I don't know much about. Maybe they're not playing as well. You get reduced ownership, and you get more talented guys. I kind of roll with that more than not. Give me 10% Kirk, 12%, something like that, and I'll take a small position. I'm not loading up on him, but I'm with you there. It's oh boy. Oh, we do have an interesting conversation in chat right now. I think Mew Hookah too is talking about Hostler, who Carl likes. I'm not really on. I looked to him. I wanted to have some. I have a couple shares in tournaments, but he did not make my teams in an impactful way this week. I'm not there on Bo Hostler just yet. You?
No, I'm not on Bo Hostler. I'm more in the Ponta camp of Hostler is the future Smiley. And I think that's true. Like I think he's the future Wes Bryan.
And Wes Bryan is the current Smiley, so
yeah, I'm dead serious though. Like Hostler hits crazy putts and is awful at everything else. Wes Bryan got away with that for a little while, and it's whatever. Hostler, I think you're gonna see him at some tournaments. He is gonna show up. It's gonna make me look dumb here and there, but eventually he's gonna get just destroyed. Carl from the top rope. Hostler in my cash lineup. Scoop me. That's
yeah. Not about that. Not about that at all. All right. A couple other guys that I have who, I know we're bouncing around a little, but this is that kind of tournament. I think you just got to rattle off guys. Lucas Glover. Quietly playing better. I think he's pretty safe. Don't mind him in cash. Don't mind him in tournaments. I think he's just a fine play for the price.
Yeah, I think so too. The 8,300 is a bit much, but Lucas Glover is like, even at when they were, like 2 years ago when they were both like above average tour players, like Glover was better than Piercy. He was bit even more by the I just can't putt thing, but he's amazing tee to green. And he's actually putt pretty well lately, which is strange. But that's what happens. Like, you get a guy like that who starts putting okay, all of a sudden he rules. Yeah, sorry, coolers. There's a lot of egregious dudes here. It's gonna get ugly. So appreciate your list. Sorry if we stomp on it early.
Yeah, there's not a lot. You get down into Tim said this yesterday, and I thought it was honestly the best point of the entire pod.
Thanks.
Hey, it's either, at least I didn't say I said it. That would be worse. Like, I just want to bring up something I said.
So last night I was playing back the pod, and I heard something that I said that was just like, it really made me think.
I will say this. I was about to say it, and he said it first, and he was right. This week, I think the biggest decision is you have Webbies and lesser-known golfers who are playing well against guys who are wildly underpriced given their long-term talent. They're either playing bad or they haven't played. And you can bring that all the way up to like a Kuchar, all the way down to a Henley, a Steele. And what do you do with that? Do you play Albertson, whatever these people's names are, or do you play Henley?
I was going to ask you about Andreas Albertson.
I don't know that much about him, obviously. And we talk all the time about how putting is the most variance, because that's true. It's fluky. But it doesn't mean that everything else is completely stable at the same time. And did you see his performance last week?
No.
He gained 10.4 strokes on the approach.
Yeah. He did do that all summer at the Web. Like, he was just murdering at GIR, which is a pretty good proxy for strokes gained approach.
That's true. And I think he's going to be a very good iron player and a good ball striker. That, though, is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, you're not gaining 10 strokes. So, he played great last week. More power to him. If he putted better, he probably would have won. He lost 3 strokes putting, came in 5th. I get it. A lot of people are going to see that and play this guy relative to what we would have seen if he was just a little, that's a ridiculous. That stands out. 10.4 on the approach.
Yeah, that's not particularly sustainable. That, again, that said, I did peg him as kind of like he's like the JJ Spawn kind of thing, like irons, and he has putt well. Over the years, play him at the Albertsons Boise Open. It's too bad he's not going to be there this year. Am I right?
Yeah, this chat is funny. Do you have any of the? We both weren't super into the web.com class. I know Sanjay M is the guy. I'm not overly into that. Do you have anyone this week of those guys that is it him?
I'm not playing him, no. But I do have a little bit. I do have a little bit of Albertson. Like, I don't hate that play.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of who else is an actual Webby that I'm playing. That might be it. I don't think there's many here, right?
There's a handful. Connors. I don't know what we're counting him as. I don't even know if he has status. I'm playing some of him. I think he's in play. Another one. He's similar to Albertson. The difference I have with him, I've seen the ball striking for longer on the PGA Tour. He did that a lot last year too. Mm-hmm. He can't putt, but he's 6,600, I believe, and that's a pretty damn good price.
Yeah. I don't mind Roberto Castro. I like him this week. He's not really a Webby because he's formerly a PGA player, but whatever. We say that about Chesson Hadley, and he's a Webby. Wow,
to disrespect.
Runs deep.
The thing about Roberto Castro and again, it's a 1 week. You can't let this stuff override everything. He had a super hot putter last week, gained a ton there, but he was still fine with the irons. It was a good showing all around, pretty much, just not off the tee, which isn't his strength really anyway. So don't mind that.
Did he do well last week?
Yeah, he played well. I think he came in. I just had it up. fifth or seventh.
Oh wow, he's fifth. Wow, shit.
Yeah, he played well and he putted the lights out. So
Well, that's not bad necessarily. It's good
no, exactly. You
it's
can
gonna ump his ownership. I didn't really see that, but
definitely not going to be 1%. He's still not going to be a popular guy though.
you know who I think I am, and I hate to say this because I literally yesterday said I was writing him off completely for now. I think I'm gonna play, and again, I'm playing $150 $5 lineups. I think I'm gonna have 10 of them with Hillbilly on him. He's gonna be like point.
Oh.
This is like that Danny Lee shit when he was playing awful, where it's like he might be. You could play him if you played him in like the 555. You might legitimately be the only person playing him.
Oh, you will. There's
Or
only
you
200.
would be. There's only 200 people. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The thing about him, this is to the point where I think he's 20-something% to withdraw again. I mean, he's withdrawn 2 out of the last 3.
Yeah. No,
That-
it's bad news, but just saying.
I get it. I get what you're saying. And for 150 lineups in the $5, yeah, you can take, a stab like that. It's just that part of it is brutal. You don't even know what's going on. Like he's withdrawing and then he enters the next week. So it's like, are you just playing so bad that you're quitting? Is it the anxiety thing? I know he has some issues with that. I don't know. Super buyer beware. Upside is through the roof, and he could be sub 1%.
Think he's got canvassing to do before the midterm elections? Like,
Yeah, he's got to hand out pamphlets.
MAGA hats to everyone. Yeah. Who's? Never mind.
No.
Nope.
Speaking of egregious people, right next to him, Ollie. Do you have any exposure? You think?
No, I don't think so. Are you?
No. Him and Peter Uihlein are guys. Peter Uihlein is one of my favorite golfers. I love that guy. I still think that he's going to have a fine career on the PGA Tour. It's just not working right now. I can't keep buying. Even when he gets it going, it's not sustained within a round. It's really disappointing.
Does he strike you as a little bit Brandon Grace-like? Because he does to me. Just like kind of a goes along, pretty good player, has a hard, like he's not a just like birdie. He's not a birdie machine basically. He has a hard. He's probably more of a hard course type of guy.
The problem. So, I get that angle of it. The problem is he's not, because he sprays so badly that when he's on hard courses, it's over. And that's a delicate situation. I get what you're saying, because he's not a super, high rover, high upside kind of guy. He's punted. I mean, his off the tee is horrendous. He's a good putter. He's a creative scrambler. It's just, man, he's got some serious leaks tee to green right now.
So he can't make birdies, and he's horrible off of the tee.
And you wonder why.
And he's gonna have a good PGA Tour career. Okay.
You'll see. He's still in Europe. When he had it going on, he was quality, and he showed minor flashes.
He had He had one round last year. Where was that? Was that Colonial?
Memorial?
Maybe.
I think. He had 2 top 5th place finishes last year.
But the one was in one round. He shot like a 52 or something.
Well, I remember because he was at that point like sub 1%, and I obviously had like 12%, 15%. It's just, that's one where what I have to say to myself is, listen, if Peter Uihlein goes out and wins, I'm not in high stakes stuff. It's not going to hurt me at all. No one's going to play him. It's an unnecessary risk. If I was playing 150 lineups in the $5, I might have 2 or 3 with him, but I just right now it's a pass, as much as that pains me.
Yeah, I think it is for me too. I mean, I'm sure I have 2 in the 150. I'm sure I have 2% Peter Uihlein, but it's not something I'm looking towards or excited about necessarily.
Yeah, it's all right. Do you have any other guys that you want to get into that you think are important, or do you just want to start rattling off? I know we've been talking some egregious guys. I do have a handful of, if you want to go into the rapid fire portion. We can. I mean, we got time. It's It's our show. NBA post lock.
Yeah, we do what we want here. No one's telling us what to do. Mom and Dad aren't even around. Josh isn't watching us anymore.
He's probably waiting, wondering why our show still hasn't started. Of course, I added the channel with the wrong thing.
I think this FIFA game probably went into overtime, which is why he didn't switch us over from the NBA show to the other.
I don't know how that works. I'm sure we'll learn something new.
FIFA?
No, not FIFA. I don't know how that works either. But Carlos Ortiz, yay or nay? I've heard his name a decent amount this week.
I believe you. I have not looked at really any content whatsoever of anyone else's, and that is not someone who's ever shown up to me. Nothing against anyone else, but I do know what the case for him is.
Played well last week. He's kind of showed some upside. He's going to be low owned. I think people have seen his name enough where it's not that crazy. And again, if he wasn't third last week at Sanderson Farms, I don't think we'd be seeing a lot of the chatter that we're saying.
98 Rover for what it's worth. I'd rather this is a position I take sometimes. I bet he's at least 60, 70, 80 to 1 for a first round leader. I would rather hedge with that than so that if he comes out guns blazing, I at least have something to anti-sweat him. What usually happens in those situations is the guy ends up 5th after the first round. But I'm not scared of Carlos. I'm not scared of Carlos Ortiz if he's in 5th place after the first round.
No, I'm not scared.
I don't think he's going to be there all weekend.
Carlos Ortiz, if he's 4 strokes clear of the entire field, like, let's be clear. I've seen this. Everyone has. No, it's not just him. We've seen this time and time again where it's like, oh my God, like this guy, like it is a long tournament.
Yeah.
And in a tournament like this, especially if it's calm, if you shoot even par on round 2, now you're in T22, even if you're lead. Like, you're going to need 4. The bonuses are going to come into play. This is a par 71. Okay. So the under 70, keep that in mind, people. Not that you can really predict it, but at the same time, you're going to need those bonuses. I would say 3 or 4 of them, maybe. That's probably a fair guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to play way under par, you're going to need 5 of the top 10 to win a tournament most likely, unless it's just absolute mayhem with the cut. So, yeah, I think 4 bonuses sounds about right if it's playing 20. If all the top 10 are 15, 16 plus under, then yeah, you're in trouble without.
Oh, that's a good point too. And Carlos Ortiz also has some decent history at this course, so it's like the double. The recent form course history combo is always something that's gonna get you noticed.
Yeah, I gotta find a better way to data pull that just to have a I don't know, because Tim has it obviously, but there's like a whatever. Never mind. I want to find a way to not data pull it, but to put it into a single number that I can look at.
That would be cool.
Because that would be easier. It's just, unfortunately, with stuff like that doesn't really have much mathematical,
and it's tricky
behind it. It doesn't really work.
A lot of stuff happens. There's outlier. It's hard to remember. Certainly, I don't like. A couple of years ago at a course, there was a massive weather split, and the guy got on the wrong side and he got cut. You don't. That's why it's tough to rely on that stuff. I actually, not that we're going down this wormhole, I think one of the things people don't bring up when they talk about is course history important? It's definitely important if you're seeing the picture that you think you're seeing. A lot of times you're looking at just the actual aggregate finishes, and that can be really misleading.
And that's why it's not important, is because if you just look at the aggregate actual finishes, it's not statistically significant. It doesn't have a There's a threshold for what makes something a statistically significant correlation. It doesn't pass that. And it's, because of stuff like that. And either way, it's going the wrong way. It's the fit that makes the history, not the history that makes
no doubt. So you can break that down further, and I think you find some really interesting stuff within it. Anyway.
Can I ask you have you looked more at your boy Bud Colley since yesterday? Because
I have. Not gonna do it.
Not good.
I like that he played Safeway. I thought that was just, good to not come. If he was coming in cold, there's no chance I would play him. But I just look at what he did in Safeway, and I know it's a sample size of 1. Came in 46, which it is whatever. He gained 4.2 strokes around the green, lost 2 off the tee, lost 1 on the approach. And the thing that and again, I'm reading a lot into this, but like he's coming back from major car accident. The driving and the irons, like if he was crisp there, I wouldn't have much worry. But doing all your heavy lifting around the greens, I don't know what we see. And I think he's a guy he's a name that people know enough that I'll just say, you know what, 6% of the tournament chase him. I don't think the upside's there just yet.
All right, fair enough. Come in under then. There is a triumvirate of young bomber types that I have a soft spot for, occasionally play. What?
Brandon Hagee.
Yeah, Hagee, Power, and Mullinax. I don't have interest in any of them at this point. Do you?
Seamus would be my favorite of the 3. He's a good putter, a really good putter. Of those 3, though, he's clearly the worst at the other at driving the ball. Like I know they're all bombers, but the other 2 really are aggressive off the tee, and they can get ahead of there. Hagee's in last for me. He's coming off. I mean, he hasn't played in a long time. We don't have many recent results at all. I don't know how you go there.
He's only played twice and missed the cut both times, I think, right? Since he's come back.
He had withdrawn, and then he hasn't done much at all. From what maybe I'm wrong, but that's all I'm seeing as well. I guess Mullinax is the thing I'll say about him, and which we are certainly talking about because these guys are not cash viable. Mullinax, when you get him right, he can really go low. First round leader bet, don't mind that at all. Could hang around for a while. Scores great, but I tried to jump on him at Safeway and it did not work. If he's my last man in, I don't mind it. Don't think I'm gonna have a lot though.
He's also, according to all the models, like Hagee and Power are both looking at 3 to 5% owned, somewhere in there, 2 to 4% owned, and Mullinax is supposedly going to be sub 1. So
interesting. I would have guessed, and just obviously this is just me guessing, that Mullinax would be the highest of the 3.
No, it does not appear that way.
Interesting. That makes me like him more than Seamus.
Yes.
Don't like any of them really, but those 2 could make a lineup. Hagee not making any.
Yep. What about Brian Stewart?
Brian Stewart. That guy's not. I mean,
he's a very good putter.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw actually a guy out that we haven't talked about. I don't think we talked about him yesterday either. And I get this guy right, so people should be somewhat excited. And now that I'm saying that, he's missing the cut. But Ryan Blom, no one plays that guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you get that guy right? I've never even heard you mention his name before.
I play him low key I played him like frequently late last year. He's like always 1% owned. Just does his thing, comes in like 20th. I expect him to do that exact thing again this week. He's playing well. Everything checks out. He's never popular. 7,200. Don't mind. He's the kind of guy, he's just like a filler in lineups. He's not going to make the lineup. He's not going to break the lineup. Of course, there's risk. There's always risk. It's cuts. But this is a pretty easy cut to make relative to what we normally see. I'm pretty comfortable with him.
Yeah, there is some value in that. There's more value in like the guy who you think is just gonna sort of meander to a 30th place at something like this. Now that we have a cut again, I just have a hard time playing him over, guys like Danny Lee, Harold Varner. Like I have some of Albertson. I think is a better play. Matt Jones.
You talk about people who we low key like. You love that guy.
I've played him 4 times in the last 2 years, but every time I do, your ears are like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. I really liked him a couple weeks ago. He was he was 2 off the lead after the first round and missed the cut. And the other time I really liked him, he didn't. No, that was Sam Saunders. Never mind. You kind of got me on Matt Jones the first, summer of 2017.
Yeah, I was playing him for a while, and I've just completely fallen off with him. Game is still there. He's shown flashes. He had a really good showing when he was non-existently owned.
Yeah. He's been better. He was better this year than he was last year. And he was good in 2015, 2016.
Yeah. So just to clarify, because I think we're both coming at, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like when we're evaluating the plays, a lot of them you're talking about from the drive to green perspective, and I'm talking about them in a smaller field. Like, I'm with you. If I was trying to win a tournament with 50,000 people, someone like Ryan Blom would not have that much appeal, and guys like Varner, Danny Lee would be way elevated. But if I'm playing against 50 people, 30 people, 10 people, a guy like Blom is more in the wheelhouse because there 6 of 6 is even more pertinent. You're not going to need a perfect, connect all the dots. You just need a quality lineup, and I think he provides pretty good safety.
Okay, fair enough.
I like him over
I think Albertson is safer than Blom.
I don't.
Why not?
Because this Albertson guy, I've seen him play like basically 2 events.
He was good. I mean, he was good all summer on the web, which is not like this is take away the top 7 players here, and this is a web.com event.
I don't, and this is just where we differ on stuff. I don't believe that at all. Not even in terms of strength of the field, just mindset, just things that you can't quantify. Like, this is the PGA Tour, and just being out here for years helps rather than making your 3rd start.
7 was strong. Take away the top 20, but then it's it's a birdie fest with a bunch of just okay players.
That's not even the part I'm talking about. I agree with that. Even if it was 7, like, their strength of field isn't the metric. I'm just saying there's just a different quality about playing on a PGA Tour event. I just trust a guy who's played it a little more than someone like Albertson. We see guys come out all the time, and I'm sure they're more ready, just like college sports, like these freshman QBs. They're more ready to play than ever. Like, these guys have done it. It's not like it was. So there's something to that. I will roll with Ryan Blum, who's had real success on the PGA Tour.
Okay.
Not winning any majors, but it's not terrible. He's not going to the web.
No. Nope.
Maybe.
You think Bryce Garnett goes back to the web? Do you like him at all? I kind of do.
Bryce Garnett, I think I said this. Yet let me make sure that this is true before I say it again. Do I like him? He's at a price range that if you're going down there, I think it has to be him. You could start like Ricky Spieth and use him, and I totally get that.
That's all it is. It's just he's 6,200, and he probably should be 6,600. It's like not a crazy price discount, but it's a bit of one.
No, I think it's more an opportunity cost of, like, if you have a lineup you love, and he's the only reasonable option. And what I was gonna say, he is not going to the web because he's a winner in 2018. He's exempt for a while, so that's nice. Good for him. He won Punta Cana. That should get you demoted if you're just in that event.
That's actually a web.com tour event. And
again, that field, you couldn't be worse. It's just that's the yeah, it's bad. Tyus Jones is still getting some talk. Could be a Siwoo week. Did you have any Siwoo?
I have a standing rule about Siwoo. It's Tyreek Hill style. I don't play him when he's more than 5% owned, and he is going to be more than 5% owned, I think, this week. So don't think so. He's just, and the reason for that is he is a very, very high variance guy. There's a lot of miscut in his game. I don't like to play him when he's chopped.
He really is, and everyone says it's not like we're coming up with this. He is one of the best guys to just bet him and just don't play him. Like, you get more bang for your buck. And if you have a book that say it takes each ways and stuff, you get a T5 or a T10, which that's the only way he's really hurting you in DFS anyway. You're getting better payouts, and you don't take the risk on DraftKings. I'm not interested in him either, even though the upside's always through the roof. Yeah, guy is electric. He's only like 20.
John, sorry, go ahead.
No, and he's so young. It's crazy. Like,
yeah. John keeps asking about Alex Cheka, so I feel like we need to respond to this.
Sure.
How much does that clown even cost? I can't find him. Oh, here he is, 6,900.
I was getting there. Chetka, not Sejka, Ben. I say it every time. So the thing about him, one, he's really good in the wind.
Yeah.
Not perfect. Two, he's in a borderline around the green specialist. Not the best fit for that. So
he said do you have his course history up by any chance? John was saying he's played here 4 times, he had to miss the cut. I wonder, was last year the year he had his best time?
I can tell you right now. So we got
that would be my guess.
Alex. Yeah. So, well, no, in fairness to him, he's got a pair of runner-ups in 2016 and 2018. So last year and then 2 years before that.
Okay.
He's definitely has some quality showings here. He was 18th and 27th, so basically 4 straight T30s. I get that. There could be something to them. You know, he obviously likes this course. Again, I don't think his game is perfectly suited for it in the sense that he really relies around the green. And, of course, you can do that here. But it's big green surfaces. You're not scrambling too much.
And that's why he's good in the wind. No one is good in the wind. He is good. He is better than the field relatively in the wind because when there's a lot of wind, there's a lot more around the green work. And that's what he's really good at. I vaguely remember this. I can picture him with his like weird ponytail, like nailing around the green shots at a time I really didn't want him to. And I have to imagine that was here last year. Because that was when I was leading the 4-4-4 for most of the week, and then JJ Spawn choked it away. But I think Cheka was one of the dudes that came and chased him down.
We have a lot of this in golf. You can take the same information and you can justify plays with it, or you can do the other side of it and say 4 straight good showings. That's going to pump up his ownership to probably higher than it should be for that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that's a double-edged sword. You know, I totally get the play if you want to go there. I'm not going to be on him, though.
And he is showing it sort of – the projection systems do differ greatly, but, you know, between 6 and 15%, which that's a huge difference. But I think Drewby's takes into account buzz more than other people's, and his has him at the highest. So
another Vegas guy, too. James Dixon just pointed out in chat. Good point. I think that helps. Just desert golf.
He's from Germany, I believe, but
yes, but all these guys, they live in like one of 4 states.
It's Arizona, Florida, Nevada, and South Carolina, Hilton Head,
Texas.
Right? Texas, right? They don't pay state income tax. Even the California dudes, like Ricky and Tiger, are from California. They live in Florida because then you don't have to pay state income tax.
All Aaron Wise is he's a Vegas dude now, like from California. There's a lot of guys though that have taken on this. You can play year round. There's good training and whatnot, so it makes sense and
really helpful to the economy for the rest of us too. Like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's no New York hub for golf.
Or
anyway,
Californians, which is just
that's kind of shady.
12% state income tax. I think those guys would be in the 13% range, which wouldn't hurt.
You tell them, build those roads. All right. Do we have anything else before we get out of here? I don't even know how many people saw this because this will be like the Lost episodes. When the shows have those.
No, because I don't see them because they're lost.
Wow. I see what you did there.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't that good. I know what a Lost episode is. I don't think it'll be like that. I think some people will see it. There's 17 chats talking to us, asking questions.
Which we do appreciate. We know we'd also appreciate if you can give us a like. It would help. I don't even know if it's helping us. It'll help the NBA Live before
live. It helps out Eddie and Spags. That's not. Do we really want to do that? Jeez.
We're team players. All right. Do we have anything else in terms of? I know we need a hot take each, but I'm just seeing. I have a couple guys. If you want, just real quick, yay or nay.
Okay.
Sam Ryder.
I like one of the Sams, and I don't remember which one.
Burns or Ryder? Yeah, they're the same person.
Yeah, kind of, but one of them did actually stand out to me here.
I'm nay. I'm not on him, so.
Oh, I like Ryder better. Ryder was the one that sort of looked okay, but he's 7,600. No interest in Burns.
Okay, fair enough. Wee Kim?
No.
Me neither. Even though we've seen him get hot, but he never sustains it. Good luck trying to predict that. Johnny question marks. John who?
I saw it too. It does seem like a unfair price tag for him. I don't know. I have a tiny bit in a massive portfolio. Don't know if I'm going to get him in anything, in the club tour or the signature hole.
Didn't make it for me. I saw what you guys saw. His recent form has been horrendous. So bad. There's no signs of life there. Last guy, Scott Stallings.
Down there with Garnett of if you got to break glass in case of emergency guy, it's defensible. It's not something I'm targeting.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Same thing.
What about I got another egregious guy. Was that the whole list?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Thanks everyone for contributing to the egregious list. What about your boy? I'm just gonna start doing that to everybody now. That's what we do.
I stole that from PTI. They always say that. And
from what?
From Pardon the Interruption.
Oh, okay.
They're always like, your boy. So now, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, everyone does that. It started... I'm trying to think of where specifically your boy, blah, blah, blah. There was always the fantasy focus guys. Like Barry would always do that. Your boy, my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. That's really where the boyfriend thing, from what I remember, started. I'm sure it came somewhere else first, but that was 10 years ago when I listened to the Fantasy Focus. Rest in peace, Nate Ravitz. Greatest podcast host of all time. Your boy, Hudson Swafford.
Yeah. So, if you're making some teams and you want to correlate some things, I took some aggressive bomber stacks, and I think he fits in the mix there. Say you want to roll him with Woodland and Tway and guys like that. Don't hate it. The form though, he's made a couple of nice cuts. Yeah, he's making things. You talk about this, he's not that far away from being one of three, and then he would be non-existently owned.
Yeah. I do think I kind of prefer him to Power, Hagee, Mullinax, though.
I would agree with that. Yep.
All right. Fair enough. And then do we have to play shitty golfer roulette head-to-head here, like our normal?
Or we could just give a regular hot take.
Do you have one?
You want to pick?
I got one.
I have a good one if you want one.
I think I have a good one too. What's your good one?
Go ahead. Go first.
That's all right. You can go first. You already had yours. I literally just scrolled up and was like, oh, that might work.
Well, I want to gauge the level of hotness in, I don't want to say something so crazy and then you're like, mine's that Spieth makes the cut.
Well, what's the probability of yours happening?
I can tell you exactly, 2%.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going that hot. I
think.
Well, I was going for a fun one that's
possible.
An easy. Well, no, it's an easy. Sorry, not that high. Mine is much higher than that. Mine is an easy win, an easy potential win, and it sounds harder than it is. And that, my friends, in radio is something that I found that is helpful to do. I was going to go with Piercy misses the cut, which is that's 1 in 3.
Yeah, what 2%? Yeah, that's a good one. I'll adjust.
See, doesn't that sound crazy hot though? Because everyone's like, "Ooh, Scott Piercy is from Vegas, therefore he can't miss the cut."
You had no respect on these hometown narratives.
I just it's fine, but it's not a real. It's like the revenge game in basketball or whatever. It's who gives a shit?
Well, there you go.
Webb Simpson plays Eagle Rock all the time. It's never going to be a problem. Sung J M is the master of Korea Island.
Preach. It's all true. And then when it works once, people are like, you see?
That's what I'm talking about.
You're right. Having said that, Scott Piercy, Vegas narrative. Lock it up. No, it's well said. All I heard with CJ Cup was Sungjae Im is from the island. I got sucked into that. Mine was gonna be Patrick Rodgers wins this tournament.
Ooh.
But I'll say that Patrick Rodgers, what, T10? 5.
Wait, is he
10?
50-1? So you're only saying he's 2%? What are the real? The Vegas juices that a little bit though. He's a little higher than that. He's really probably 2.3%.
Good point. I was trying to make myself look better. Yeah, I'll say Patrick Rodgers top 5s. That's
okay.
Definitely a little more aggressive than you, but listen, Patrick Rodgers is the type of guy, and I want to be clear on this. His top 5 probability, I think, is elevated. His miscut probability is also large. That's the kind of guy he is. It's a all or nothing kind of thing. So it doesn't work with like, oh, this guy missed the cut. That's the way it is. You got to roll the dice with him. He's playing well, hot putter. I think this correlates not with JDC in the sense of layout and stuff, but just in that type of tournament. I like Patrick Rodgers a good amount this week.
All right, I like it. And we're going to replace our head-to-head this week with your head-to-head of Patrick Rodgers to Karl Marx's Bo Hostler.
That's fine. Bo Hostler, also in a similar boat, but you want... Who would you take in that, honestly?
Rodgers.
Okay. Just making sure there's nothing absurd going on here. Fair enough. This was good.
Yeah.
No trick-or-treaters, by the way. I would have lost that bet. I was originally going to put money on that. Glad I didn't.
Yeah. The Razza model high on Rodgers. I should look at that. I'm not sure who projects higher. It's probably Hostler because he's shown some...
I would hope.
Real stuff lately.
Yeah, of course. You want odds, though. Yeah. You can have negative 130, and I'll play plus 120.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Hostler is projected for like 4 points higher. So if the odds are happening, you're getting them, not Carl.
That's right. If Vegas lined that, Bo Hostler would be not a substantial favorite, but he would be favorite.
Yeah. And realistically, if I'm taking an actual like even odds head to head and just can put $100 on it, I probably take Hostler. I think that's the safer play. But
of course, in real life. But if you told me that one of them comes in the top 5, it's Patrick Rodgers more often. He's like the Siwoo Kim, where his win equity, his top 5 equity, I think is elevated. That doesn't make him less likely to miss the cut, though. That's not how it works in golf.
Other people with high variance and high upside types are ones that can't do anything but putt the ball too. And that, my friends, is Bo Hostler. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Enjoy your candy. Dress up better than we did. Ben dressed up as a DK odds maker, and I dressed up as, I don't know, a guy who's going to take his dog for a walk through the trick-or-treating maelstrom.
Ooh.
Right now. All right, like us on YouTube or the other YouTube channel or the other YouTube chat. We'll talk to y'all. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a good night.